So, hey guys, this is the Cathaltist again. We're going to be trying a slightly different game today. I know we already have about 20 other Let's Plays going, but... well, basically I just got the DLC for XCOM, so I really want to try it out, and I figured it would be a good chance to record some of it and get the footage out there. We will still be continuing the Revengeance and Dark Souls playthroughs, probably the indie games one too. Unfortunately, me and Pat are on two totally different work schedules right now. Same with me and Joe, and yeah, basically it's just come down to a point where no one has time off at the same time anymore. Give it a couple weeks and we'll try to get another Revengeance video out there, if nothing else. Until then, however, I do kind of want to follow up on XCOM, since this is easily one of my favorite games from the past year or two, and one that I just keep coming back to. And now that there's a huge DLC like this out for it, I figure I can't keep putting it off any longer. So, yeah, we're pretty much just going to play through some of it and see how far we get before we ultimately get destroyed. So, for those of you who have not played XCOM Enemy Unknown, I'm going to go through the tutorial mission so that it gives you some backstory and everything, sets up the narrative, and just kind of shows you how to play. Let's see here. Those who play with the devil's toys will be brought by degrees to wield his sword. That is a different quote than what was on Enemy Unknown. However, the rest of this cutscene looks like it's going to be the same. So, yeah. Let's see. It should be just a device sitting in the middle of the street now. Yeah, there's nothing different about this introduction. So, again, for those of you who don't know anything about the game, this pretty much revolves around a alien invasion of Earth, where a whole bunch of different world governments have gotten together to put their militaries together into one. Now, they'll explain it in a minute here. Basically, you're the commander of a multinational defense organization program thing. Here we go. They'll sum it all up for me right here, actually.
Hello, Commander. In light of the recent extraterrestrial incursion, this Council of Nations has convened to approve the activation of the XCOM project. You have been chosen to lead this initiative, to oversee our first and last line of defense. Your efforts will have considerable influence on this planet's future. We urge you to keep that in mind as you proceed. Good luck, Commander.
So, I absolutely love everything about this game. The art style, the way the missions are set up,
That was the last transmission, sir.
even the characters, which you get very little of in it, are really well fleshed out and everything.
You were being deployed to Germany. At 1900 hours Zulu, several unidentified objects fell to Earth. After ruling out the possibility of a downed satellite, we now believe these objects to be extraterrestrial in nature. Shortly after impact, German officials received reports of mass hysteria and freak weather around one of the impact zones. Then things went dark. At 2100 hours, a chopper carrying a German military recon team went down in the area after they reported being fired upon. As you know, Germany is a member of the Council, and they have requested our assistance. Our mission is to assess the situation on the ground, ascertain the current status of the German recon team, and investigate the extraterrestrial objects. Central out.
So I had played a few of the original XCOM games back on my old PC, and they were, well, ironically enough, I totally forgot what they were for a while, and then this came out, and looking back, they were some of my all-time favorite strategy games for that, for the PC in general. And just having this new, updated, fully playable version like this, it's been amazing to just be able to go through it all and see how they've kind of brought it to life for a new generation and everything. And I have to admit, I've ended up buying this on every console I have that's available for. I have it on the Xbox, on my PC, on my iPad, so I can pretty much play it anywhere I go. And Now, I'm trying to think. I've beaten the game on normal once, on classic once, and then had numerous attempts that have just utterly failed, aside from that. So, yeah. Essentially, that's why I set it up now with the second wave options on, and all sorts of other things that kind of randomize the game. It has massive replayability, and you can just keep making it more and more interesting by doing that and playing through it over and over again. You get the full story the first time through, but there's never a shortage of new tactics that you can use or new ways you can progress through the game. Alright, so anyway, let's get back to the tutorial here. As you can see, this guy's not doing so well.
Looks like one of the recon teams.
This is what's left of the recon crew that went in the chopper that they were talking about before. I don't know where the chopper itself is, but the recon crew is completely annihilated.
Dr. Valen, what's he saying?
Oh, and that's Dr. Valen. She's easily my least favorite character in this entire game. She's in charge of XCOM's research and development sector. Essentially, they turned her into one of those characters where you can tell right off the bat she cares way more about the technology and the research and everything than she does about human lives. So it just becomes one of those things. All the other characters in this, they put a great deal of emphasis on how much you should be watching out for your troops. Oh boy. Right, I forgot about that. See, any of the times I've played it, aside from the very first time, I've totally skipped the tutorial mission. So I completely forgot about some of this.
Even more perplexing is the cause of death. It appears that he was eviscerated when something burst out of him from the inside.
Sir,
And I have to admit, the first time that I saw that, it really got my hopes up that there might be some kind of alien or aliens crossover in this. Like, maybe somehow they got the rights to it and threw xenomorphs in here, but unfortunately that is not the case, which is quite a shame. But whatever. It's still a great game either way. Xenomorphs would have just made it a little better. So as you can see, the tutorial is very, how do I put it, hand-holdy. They want to make sure you understand how cover works before they throw you into the actual game. And they do a pretty good job of setting all this up, really. They show you the proper way that movement is supposed to be used. As long as you move within the blue lines, you still have another turn left to use an action. If you go all the way to the yellow lines, or anywhere within the yellow lines, then you're going to use up your entire turn just moving.
We have eyes on the target. He's armed.
You can break through windows, through doors, stuff like that.
Do not approach. Doctor, see if you can communicate with him. Tell him to drop his weapon.
I will try. Hallo, können Sie mich hören? Wir sind hier, um Ihnen zu helfen. Bitte lassen Sie Ihre Waffen fallen. He appears to be in shock.
Yep. That's the sound of shock,
Your eyes
alright.
open, people. I don't like the looks of this.
So keep in mind, they have no idea that there are actually aliens down here yet.
Delta 3, move in and
They know that
disarm him.
the canister things that were out there that fell to Earth probably came from some other planet. But no one on this mission was actually expecting any kind of alien life to come into play. So, as you can imagine, this would come as a bit of a shock to them.
What the hell is going on?
Delta 3 is down!
Okay, so we lost one guy already. Now, unfortunately, this entire scene is fully scripted and on the rails.
Down! Delta 1 is down!
You really have no choices to make here, and you can't save any more of the people that are automatically saved during this.
Pinned down, taking heavy fire!
However, it does once again give you a good idea of what it is you're doing for the rest of the game. So this is setting up how shot angles work. If you can get behind an enemy or on its side and flank it, you pretty much have a guaranteed hit on it.
Delta 4, you're free
And
to
it'll
move.
also be a
Get
much
out of
higher
there and
critical
get into
hit
cover.
chance.
Now toss your grenade at the enemy in front of
This
you.
one shows how free aiming weapons like grenades work. Keep in mind, you can easily accidentally bounce a grenade off something that you didn't mean to and have it come flying back at your own guys and kill them. So, I had a bad experience with that when I first started playing, so I use grenades
Look out,
sparingly
Delta
now.
4. There's another one coming in behind you.
Alright, and it looks like we're just down to
It's just
Delta
you now,
2
Delta 2.
now.
Let's
So,
tip the odds in our favor.
essentially, no matter what you
Look
do in
around
here,
for a
he's the
position
only
where
one
you
who
can
can
flank the enemy.
survive.
That's it.
Okay, so see how the alien skull turns yellow up there? That means you're flanking them. When it's red, you have it just means you can see them and potentially fire at them. But you'll have a percent chance of...
I think that's it.
It'll show you a percent of how likely it is you'll actually hit them.
Roger that, Delta. Secure the bodies
So
and head
typically
back
it's
to the
better
Sky
to go
Ranger for
in
immediate
and
extraction.
try and get behind them or on their sides and flank them in some way. But yeah, essentially that sums up the whole premise of how the game works. Of course, it's going to be a little different once you actually get into a real combat situation in here. But for now, I think that gave a pretty good example of what to expect. Oh, right. I forgot, if you take the tutorial mission, you don't get to pick all of the, from all of the potential positions to place your headquarters in. Typically, I go for Asia because I like the bonus that it gives the best. Future combat is really useful for later on in the game, and just even getting started once you unlock the officer training. However, since it only gives us America and Europe... You know what? I've got a better idea. We're going to end this video here. I'm going to reset all of this, and we'll come back to this without the tutorial mission. I'll have one less veteran in my army because of that, but hopefully we'll make up for that quickly enough anyway. So, yeah, that's probably about it. So I'll put another one of these up as soon as I have one ready. See you next time.